Aston Villa are back in the Champions League next season as they thumped and destroyed Liverpool 4-2. And Liverpool are in danger of actually missing Champions League football. Could they actually miss Champions League football? Don't forget, guys, to like, hit, share, and subscribe this new episode of the football show. Like the video, subscribe, and also to try to make this channel bigger than ever in terms of views and everything else. Now let's move on. Let's start with Aston Villa beating Liverpool 4-2 yesterday. Wow, I mean, like, what's going on with Liverpool? But firstly, let's start with Aston Villa. I thought they deserve to win. They deserve to win the game. They deserve to win the match. They were the better team than the Liverpool over the 90 minutes. They deserve to win. There is no doubt about it. You look at the game in general. I mean, they won 4-2, but it could have been easily more. If I'm being very, very honest. In the first half, it was 1-0 to Aston Villa. Rodgers giving them the lead once again. He showed again another great performance from him for himself, and he's had a phenomenal season for Aston Villa this season, and for sure, if he keeps this level of great development and the trajectory that he's in right now, he could be a great midfielder in the future. However, I don't know if Aston Villa might have to sell him in this transfer market or not, because of obviously PSR and so on. But yeah, he's been a key player for Aston Villa this season, scoring, giving Aston Villa the lead 1-0. And then the second half, Liverpool started to respond. Van Dijk 1-1 scoring 1-1, and then the second goal where Szoboszlai did the Steven Gerrard. No, but seriously, Dominic Szoboszlai, he slept, and that's when Ollie Watkins took advantage of it and gave Aston Villa the lead again 2-1. Ollie Watkins scoring again 3-1, 4-1. Brilliant goal from John McGinn. Brilliant goal from him. Liverpool got another consolation towards the end from Van Dijk as well. But yeah, a very, very good win for Aston Villa. I thought they were the better team. And firstly, they started at Unai Emery picked a very strong 11. And I honestly didn't expect that, because I thought maybe he would rest some players for the Europa League final. But he actually took this game very seriously, and he said, I want to qualify for the Champions League. I don't want to miss this opportunity, because if we don't qualify, if we lose this game, then I might look like a stupid if we lose this game and then we lose the Europa League final. You can actually see he learned from his lessons in the past with Unai Emery, and he did really well in this time. He played a very strong 11, and Aston Villa, you think, like, when I saw the 11, I'm like, yeah, Aston Villa are going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game, considering how poor Liverpool are, considering how Aston Villa are going to be up for it. They're at home. They have to win to go to the Champions League. I think Aston Villa will win this game, and they did, and more than deserved to win, because they were the better team over the 90 minutes. Liverpool, I mean, they were very, very poor, I have to say. You look at the players like John McGinn. He's had a fantastic season for Aston Villa, scoring 2 important goals for them in the Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest, and he stepped up once again for them. Well to him. Another great performance for him. Morgan Rogers, fantastic performance for him. Ollie Watkins, he's massively stepped up, and sometimes people question Watkins, whether does he step up enough in big games or not. But he stepped up in this one massively, and he was fantastic for Aston Villa. Brilliant performance from him. And yeah, Watkins, brilliant performance from him, and McGinn, fantastic. Defensively, Aston Villa could have done better, because obviously they could see 2 goals. Particularly, one of them was from set pieces. But in general, they were fantastic, and they deserve to win. They were the better team, that's for sure. Congratulations to Aston Villa. And they are through to the Champions League. They're going to play Champions League football once again. This time next season. They should have played Champions League football this season if it wasn't for the Salah goal against Man United last season. But I'm pretty sure some Aston Villa fans will forget it right now, as they're right now in the Champions League next season, and they have a chance to win the Europa League final on Wednesday. You have to give credit to Unai Emery, because he's done a fantastic job. He's done a phenomenal job. since coming to Aston Villa, since taking over from Steven Gerrard, he's done a fantastic job. Well done to him. Congratulations. He tends to do well with clubs who are called Villa. Villarreal, Sevilla. Aston Villa right now. He tends to do really with clubs really who are named Villa. So that's not a coincidence, is it? But he's done a fantastic job, and he's done really well in getting the best out of the players. You look at the likes of John McGinn before before Steven Gerrard, before Unai Emery came in. Look at how he is right now compared as a player compared to who he was like a couple of years ago. He's much better player right now. Matty Cash the same thing. Watkins the same thing. Yes, Unai Emery hasn't. You look at this Aston Villa side as a club, but also they don't have maybe the resources as the big clubs in the Premier League, like say Manchester City or Chelsea. But I tell you what, they've got a manager who can get the best out of the players really, really well, and he's a fantastic coach. And you look at this team of Aston Villa; they're a well coached team. It's an Unai Emery team. It's a well coached team. So you have to look at those players, the likes of Watkins and Rodgers and Won again. They're fantastic players for Aston Villa. But the main star of this Aston Villa side is Unai Emery because he's the guy that, let's be honest, like I said, before he came into Aston Villa were nowhere under Steven Gerrard. And since he came in, every year they've qualified for European football. Even in his first season, where they were, I think, battling for relegation, he got them to Europe. He's done a fantastic job since then, and he got them to a couple of cup semi-finals. But this time they have a better chance of winning their first trophy since the early 2000s with the Intertoto Cup. So, and if Unai Emery wins this Europa League, this would complete and give the credit to the work he's done over those years at Aston Villa, and he deserves it. He deserves for the work that Unai Emery's done at Aston Villa for the last 3-4 years. He deserves a trophy. He deserves a trophy. The players deserve a trophy. Those players deserve a trophy. The manager deserves a trophy. The fans deserve a trophy as well because they've been, Aston Villa have been, suffering for quite a lot of years. For them to get back to competing with the big boys and in the European Cup final as well, it's a great achievement. So, and they have a chance to make history to win on Wednesday at Istanbul against Freiburg. And if they do that, they are the favourites. I do expect them to beat Freiburg, but again, it's a one-off final. Anything can happen. But yeah, they're in good form right now. I mean, they're in fantastic form. They scored 4 goals against Liverpool. They scored 4 goals against Nottingham Forest. They were fantastic over the last 2 of the 3 games. Not Burnley, but against Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, they were absolutely fantastic. So well done to Aston Villa, well done to Emery. Congratulations for them to qualify for the Champions League next season. And they competed quite well actually in Champions League 2 years ago, where they or last season where they got knocked out by Paris in quarterfinals, but they competed really well. And they did really well against the likes of Bayern Munich and so on. And they did really quite well in Champions League actually. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do well in the Champions League next season. So yeah, but for Liverpool, I mean, like, if there is any more proof why Liverpool needs to sack Arne Slot, this is another game. This is another game. Like they got absolutely dominated. Like they could have lost by more. I mean, Gakpo was awful, absolutely awful. Curtis Jones not good enough defensively. They were all over the place. Like, yes, he made substitutions like of Chiesa, Verts, and Salah. Chiesa could have scored towards the end as well. He had the chance he should have scored, but again, like, you look at his Liverpool side. I mean, do they really deserve to play Champions League football next season? Do they really deserve to play Champions League football? Because the way they're looking, they don't deserve to play Champions League football. They're now 4 points clear of Bournemouth and 6 points clear of Brighton. However, if Brighton win both of their games and Bournemouth win both of their games and Liverpool lose at home to Brentford, the final game of the season, that means Bournemouth or Brighton will get Champions League football and not Liverpool. And to be honest, I still think Liverpool should still get Champions League football, but I wouldn't be surprised if they lose to Brentford. Because let's not forget, Brentford are a good side. They beat them earlier this season. They are also fighting for European football. It's not like Liverpool, they're trying to get Champions League football. Also, Brentford are trying to get European football. And, they've been very good this season. I would be surprised if this Brentford side beat Liverpool. I would be surprised. because this is how poor Liverpool are. You don't know what you're gonna get. They're a team that is very uncoachable. They're an uncoachable team. Not uncoachable, but like they are not like they're not a well coached team. They're not a well coached team. They're not. And when I say that, who does it come from? Who? Arne Slot. Who else does it come from? It comes from Arne Slot. He steadies the ship. He picks the players. He picks the players who are on the bench. He picks the players who are not in the squad. He does the job. He prepares for games, and look how they're playing. Look how the philosophy, the style of football. And the Jurgen Klopp of Liverpool, that you could clearly see a true style of football, a great style of football. You could clearly see, yes, they had some problems, but you could clearly see a fighting spirit, a tenacity, a never give up attitude. All the players willing to die for each other, a never give up attitude, mentality monsters that people like to call it. They were able to not give up and play into the last second. This Liverpool team does not have any spirit, any never give up attitude. They don't have any of it. They don't have any of it. Nothing. And you look at this Liverpool side. Do you? I'm pretty sure the Liverpool fans, when they watch this Liverpool team, do they really enjoy it? Do they really enjoy the football that they play? No, they don't enjoy it. They don't enjoy it. And you go Klopp, yeah, they were struggling at times, but they used to play good football. There was something you can hold on to. This team, there's nothing you can hold on to. This is the same side that won the Premier League last season and spent 500, 400 million on players. And you get this, you dropped off that badly? That badly? Come on, and you look at Arne Slot saying in the press conference that people are forgetting and underestimating the window that we could show what a new start could do. Listen, I understand. Listen, a new start of the season can be refreshing for Liverpool. A new transfer window can be refreshing for Liverpool. But at the same time, there are no signs that you're going to turn around next season. You spent 400, 500 million on players this summer, and last summer, sorry, and you've gotten this much worse. Yes, there are some consensus. Diogo Jota, uh, you know, passing away, and so on. There are some circumstances. I get that it's not easy, but at the same time, you cannot play this badly. You cannot play this badly, and you have to show as a team, Liverpool, you have to show there are signs that you can turn it around next season. You have to show there are signs, there are clear patterns, there are something and where you can make me think of, and make the fans of Liverpool think of. You know what? They can do it quite well. You know what? This is a team that can turn around next season. There are no signs with this team. No signs with Klopp's team. You could see it. This team, nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There are no signs to say, oh, they can turn around next season. Absolutely nothing. And the only way to see a sign that they can turn around next season is sacking the manager. I'm sorry, they have to sack Arne Slot. They have to sack him. Because what makes you think that he's going to turn around next season when he's been given 400, 500 million of players and he effed up this season? What makes you think that he's going to turn around next season? What makes you think that? Please tell me. Because there is no reason, there is no signs to say, oh, he's going to turn around next season. There's no signs that he's going to turn around next season. And by the way, imagine if Liverpool don't get Champions League football. Oh, God. I mean, oh my God. If they don't get Champions League football, oh my God. The fans would protest, day in, day out for Arne Slot. They'll make a petition to get him out. Honestly. But even if Liverpool get Champions League football, does it solve all of their problems? Does it mean they're going to compete well in Champions League next season? No. It's better that they Europa League next season, not Champions League. Because if they go to the Champions League next season, and with the way they're playing right now, they'll play against Paris Saint-Germain and not only lose 4-0, they'll probably lose 8-9-0. It's much better than not in the Champions League. It's much better that they'll be in the Europa League next season. Much better. Because if they're going to get if they will play Champions League football next season, yes, of course, it's better for financially and so on. But if they play Champions League football next season, they're going to get slapped, like a piece of cake, But yeah, it's absolutely embarrassing what's going on at Liverpool. Absolutely embarrassing. What a mess. What an absolute mess. But yeah, let's move on to talking about the FA Cup final. And there are some news within football that I will talk about as well.